Of course, this obviously is not Jesse Freeman, who will still abandon us. He's still on vacation, but I am joined by our content czar himself, the one and only Greg Esposito. Espo, I'm very thrilled to have you.
Yeah, Jesse texted me this morning, obnoxiously early.
Oh, yeah.
And says to me, well, I'm on vacation. I can't do a newsletter. And I said, God damn it, you've got to do a newsletter if I'm doing your show.
Yeah.
And then he told me no, so he's not doing a newsletter.
Wow.
So he's enjoying his vacation.
Yeah, well,
so.
Okay, that's fine. And that's allowable because, of course, once Jesse went on vacation, things happened, right?
It did.
We once the plan got into motion, once he got his boarding pass, the Diamondbacks went ahead and signed Joc Pederson, and now that signing is official. Today, the Arizona Diamondbacks have officially made Joc Pederson part of their roster. The D-backs designate right-handed pitcher Colin Snyder for assignment. Snyder was just recently acquired from the Orioles, claimed off of waivers on December 18th. But again, when it comes to Joc Pederson, there is an excitement for the organization. I think Mike Hazen today had a chance to speak before we got on air, and he talked about always appreciating the energy and the competitiveness of Joc Pederson from across the field. He's one of those guys that sometimes when you're the opposing, owner, you're kind of like, I wish we had one of those, right? The stats sometimes aren't great, but he talked about the hitability of Joc Pederson. And he also talked about the fact that, like, bringing in Eugenio Suarez and Lourdes Gurriel there in the middle of the lineup allowed the team to not necessarily go after a right-handed bat, right? So they say the middle of the lineup is pretty right-handed right now. So for the most part, they feel like Joc is going to be a good fit in the middle.
Tommy Pham agreed on the hitability.
Correct.
Of Joc Pederson,
Yeah,
right?
We can. Those jokes. Those jokes are going to be here all season long, and I'm thankful for it. But
I'm glad I got the reference right.
Yeah,
I'm new to this baseball thing.
Did.
Anytime you can sign the Sausage King of Chicago,
yes.
Is that not no? All right.
No, that one's not. But I don't think people are going to get that one, but Jesse definitely would have. The interesting part is, we broke down the fact that he's just not very good, right, at times against left-handed pitching. And today, Hazen was asked about that, like what the Diamondbacks would do against left-handed pitching. And for the most part, he said that isn't determined. He said Joc really has kind of a fire, a determination on his own to show them that he can hit left-handed pitching and that he can also still play the outfield. So, I mean, if you are running an organization like that, do you kind of wait to see if this guy can actually impress you? It's going to be hard to outfield some of these 23-year-old guys they have out there.
I love determination, but the dude's been in the majors since 2014. At some point, the law of averages just take hold.
No, that's fair.
And he's not going to magically become a great against left-handed pitching. I mean, maybe he'll prove that he's still got some left in him to play outfield at times, but you've got much better options.
Yeah.
I think there's an obvious reason they signed him. That DH position against righties. Hopefully he still has that pop. Only had the 15 home runs last year.
Yeah.
But we've seen it in the past where he can go yard. You hope in chase that he can find some comfort in that too. But I'm guessing you're headed towards kind of a platoon DH.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think Hazen. It's right to say, we're withholding judgment right now because you do have to see, right, like how they actually perform. But there's lots of options. And again, we talked about this the other day. There's like 27% of the pitchers in Major League Baseball are left-handed, right? So you don't face that many lefties in the grand scheme of things. It's not something that you need to plan for all the time. But I mean, I don't know if looking at his numbers, Joc is going to get that opportunity during the regular season. Maybe he will sometimes. Like, I'm sure it's not an all, like looking at some of the splits of some of the other players who still got at bats against lefties. It's not like they didn't play. But they did tend to like stray away from Alec Thomas, for instance, batting against lefties and some of the other guys. So I don't know, but the interesting part for me is him still playing outfield, right? Because he was criticized a bit for his conditioning with the Giants last year, especially with what they were making him or paying him. But he kind of came into camp like in good condition, and then throughout the year went on.
The Giants were complaining about. Didn't they employ Pablo Sandoval for God knows how long? The least conditioned athlete ever.
I, for one, am all about my big fellas. So, like, I am not.
I know all about not conditioning. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. Again, I brought up on this very show that whenever I talk about pre-workout supplement, usually one person asks, "You actually work out?" And no, of course I don't. I just abuse pre-workout supplement for my own energy purposes. But I know, like, Diamondbacks fans just still aren't really excited about it. You know,
but how much of that is because JD Martinez and Soler, those were the names.
Yes.
And then you wind up with Joc Pederson. You go, well, that wasn't the name we thought you're going to wind up with. But I hold judgment until I see what those guys signed for. If they signed for 20 million even for just 1 year, it wasn't possible.
Yeah, it's a good point. In fact, one of the candidates that we did hear a lot about, Justin Turner, just signed with the Blue Jays. He signs a 1-year deal worth $13 million with Toronto. So he signed a 1-year deal that was more than the 9.5 that they signed Joc Pederson for. Obviously, we talked about the buyout at the end. So like Joc Pederson, for instance, very much is probably going to get paid the same amount as Justin Turner. But based on like the desire, like based on some of the reaction when they did get Pederson, it seemed like other teams were kind of mad that they missed out on him. And like you said, like I do feel like that's a big factor, right? I feel like the fact that it's not the guy we talked about makes it a failure, unless it's some obscenely better player that they trade for or somebody like that. Like that's different, right? But when you're talking about we had these 3 guys and these were the 3 guys we chose from, it's hard for anybody that isn't those 3 guys to like have that same impact and not be a disappointment.
Well, for me, when it comes to Mike Hazen, he's always, at least in my assessment, has always been about finding the value, right? Finding the person that, at times may not be the sexiest option, but the guy that fits the culture that could surprise. You hope that that's what Joc Pederson is, right?
Yeah,
and you look at what this team's been able to do and the way they've assembled it, whether it was picking up Tommy Pham last year and him playing a big part of it, or any of these moves that they've made over the last handful of years. I think this is a case where you have to trust the process. I hate that.
Trust the process.
But you have to trust the process here. And, there's obviously a budget too, right? I mean, I'd love to act like everybody's spending from the Dodgers, pool of money, but
we don't have $1 billion to spend.
No, they have Scrooge McDuck as their owner.
Correct.
We don't have a vault full of gold coins anywhere, right? Yeah. So I think all that has to be taken into consideration, and you look at it and you go, okay, was this the best value that you could find at that position? Yeah. And it very well may have been.
That seemed to be the case, and it seemed to be that the Diamondbacks still have some other moves to make. So a big part of it is that they needed to have that money free. It does feel a bit like they might have a range of a budget, but that Ken Kendrick is kind of allowed them a little bit of a little bit of leeway to maybe spend a little bit more than they were anticipating, maybe a little bit more than budgeted, should they be able to acquire the guys that they are directly going after, right? Yeah. And so Pederson might free them up for that. And also, it's not to say that like Joc Pederson should feel like a disappointment, because according to Buster Olney from ESPN, the Diamondbacks weren't the only team that were interested in Pederson. According to Olney, the Toronto Blue Jays went hard for Pederson before he signed with the Diamondbacks. And then they end up getting Justin Turner today as kind of their consolation prize in a way, I guess you could say. I mean, they did also probably pursue Turner as well, but the Blue Jays were also one of the 2 teams linked to Soler, which the Diamondbacks were that, right? But then just for fun, there is the fact that the Diamondbacks are these 2 teams weren't the only ones. Phillies might have also potentially been interested, because not too long ago, last week, Joc Pederson posted an image on Instagram. It was this one. It's a picture, for those of you listening, of Joc Pederson being strangled by Garrett Stubbs, a.k.a. the Philly Fanatic, or maybe it's just the Philly Fanatic. I don't know. They look so much alike that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. And then he has just just the caption, "It's always sunny in Philadelphia," thus leading Philadelphia fans to think that Joc Pederson was inking a deal with their team.
Yeah.
And instead, he went ahead and came to Arizona, and they lose again to Arizona.
I feel like that was just the ultimate trolling of Phillies fans,
It's
because he went, you know what?
chef's kiss.
I'm going where it actually is always sunny. I'm going to a team that kicked your ass in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
It was just a troll of the whole thing.
It's a beautiful troll.
I appreciate that. Although, is there a more Canadian-sounding player than Joc Pederson?
No, especially not the way he spells it, not the way that some people pronounce it. Yeah, no, it's very, very Canadian. But another MLB player, former pitcher Trevor May, was on, I think, MLB Radio, and he said he not only believes the Diamondbacks are a formidable power threat, but he also went on to praise Joc Pederson as well. This is what he said about their Diamondbacks being a power threat. He said they're quickly becoming a power threat, or they're becoming a power threat quickly. And they have a lot of moving pieces they can do. This is a very intriguing team. It's very solid, like put together team with a lot of really good experience and quality. And I mean, again, that's a testament to not only the young players that the Diamondbacks fielded last year that did what they were able to do, but the way they kind of built this offseason on the back of that, right?
Yeah, and I loved how shocked Joc looked at that quote in the
he's
photo.
Like, whoa,
too.
really?
Wow, all right. It sounds good. No, but you look at it, I think they are. It's weird. They're underrated and still a surprise, even though they went to the World Series for a lot of these people. But they're like, oh yeah, they're actually doing something there in the desert, where it was like you would think that September, October was that wake up call. But I still feel like there are people in baseball that are still realizing, oh yeah, they are doing something there in Arizona.
Baseball can very much be a fluke, I think, when it comes to the postseason. It's the reason why Jesse has talked about not really liking expanding the playoffs and such. But I mean, it's also, I don't know, it's weird because like other sports, like basketball, usually the top team comes out on top, right? Mm-hmm. The better team wins at the end of the day. And baseball is just one of those games that for three games, you can just catch fire and all of a sudden be a completely different team than you were at any point during the season.
But isn't that what makes it so beautiful too? Because there's so much more strategy in baseball in terms of that as well. And the fact that just because the Dodgers pay all this money, spend all this money,
correct,
or the Yankees, it's not a fait accompli.
And win 110 games or whatever, right?
It's not a fait accompli that's the World Series we're getting. Yeah. Or one of them is going to be the champion. I think that's one of the very beautiful things about baseball. And say, well, why play 162 then? Because that's the game.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about this game, is that it can create such great surprises.
It was a lot different back in the day. Obviously, when you played your division only and you never played the American League, like the season being 162 games was kind of like a playoff itself. Mm-hmm. You really got a chance to maybe come back against your division opponents, or you got a chance to just completely distance yourself and outclass the rest of your division. But then you also knew that you could like rest guys and have a full month off before you get to the playoffs and other things. It's different now. It's very different now. But the projected home runs, when he's talking about the power for this team, very exciting when it comes to the projected home runs for the Diamondbacks. Like the Diamondbacks, they only hit 166 home runs in 2023, which was tied for 22nd in Major League Baseball. I'm not sure if you're aware, there's only 30 teams in baseball.
Really? So, I thought they were up to 60.
No, I know it feels like it sometimes, but the projected home runs right now for 2024, Christian Walker with 27, Eugenio Suarez with 25, Corbin Carroll with 21, Marte with 19, Joc Pederson 18, Lourdes Gurriel 17, Gabby Moreno 10. Those are still like pretty conservative, projections for next year, but it really does feel like just in those 7 guys, you're going to get more than 166 home runs, not to mention the contributions from the rest of the team. So it's just the Joc Pederson thing. Like we talked about him kind of having maybe not a bad reputation as far as a clubhouse guy, but we did talk about the conditioning stuff. We did speak about how some fans, at least Giants fans, felt in regards to that last year. And Trevor May went on to say that, basically praise Joc Pederson's clubhouse presence and say that he is a clubhouse guy. He highlighted that he has a positive influence on any team he plays for. And he went on to say, just from a clubhouse presence, no one's ever said anything bad about having Joc Pederson in your clubhouse. And so he can only add there. I think it's a great deal for both sides in regards to the D-backs signing him.
And he finished it saying, just don't be in his fantasy football.
Correct. That's a very good piece of advice for sure. But we did talk about, though, Justin Turner. He did sign his 1-year deal with the Blue Jays. So that's another piece. It's kind of interesting because, again, Soler not signed. And again, one of the reasons why the Diamondbacks might not have pursued him is due to cost. And it feels like maybe the Blue Jays now went with a cheaper option in Justin Turner. So we have both Soler and JD Martinez unsigned as it stands.
So they'll both be Dodgers by the end of the month?
Stop it. I will kick you right off of the show right now. But
I just looked at the way money was spent this
yeah,
offseason,
I mean,
right?
you're probably right. But I will say we do have some other interesting Blue Jays news. Not only do they get the Justin Turner free agency signing today, but Vladdy Jr. is going to be on the cover of MLB The Show 2024. Yes, I know it's not Corbin Carroll. So if it's not Corbin Carroll, it sucks. But what's funny is Vladdy wasn't actually on our radar at all. We talked about potential candidates for this. We talked about who would look good on the cover. And I don't think a single one of us talked about Vladdy Jr., but he is the cover athlete. I think we have an image of that cover in 1 second. But again, very cool player. Like, he fits all of the criteria, I feel like, for what you want out of an MLB The Show cover athlete. There he is right there. It's an electric cover. I love the way it looks.
It's Jazz Chisholm, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the old guy in me. I would love to have seen a variant where it was him and his dad.
See, okay, and Damon came up with a great idea to have like J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners, and then Ken Griffey Jr. on the same cover, right? Like that would be incredible. Maybe we get that in like the collector's edition or something, because sometimes they do that slightly different cover.
Like there was only one person I wanted on that cover, though.
Who's that?
It wasn't actually a person. I wanted Shohei Ohtani's dog.
Oh, Decoy.
Yeah, the biggest name in the offseason that
right.
we didn't know right away.
You're right.
That could have been fun. Why not have some fun with it?
Yeah.
Right? No,
because he'd probably have a Dodger hat on, and that's not cool. I don't want that. What are your thoughts, though, about like not an established superstar being on the cover of a video game, but more of like an up-and-coming guy? I don't even know if you could say that about Vladdy Jr. anymore, but I still feel like baseball, especially with the show, tries to do those unrecognized superstars that they're trying to put a spotlight on a little bit more.
Well, it's smart. Baseball is probably one of the least well-marketed sports. I mean, let's just be honest with it. And embracing excitement and youth hasn't always been in its DNA. I prefer that, right? I mean, obviously I cover the Suns, and I'm biased, but Devin Booker getting that call last year was very cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And
you want that guy. You want the local guy for sure.
Well, and it gives exposure to a guy that maybe isn't getting talked about as much nationally, but probably deserves it.
Yeah, for sure.
As well. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen Corbin.
Yeah.
Maybe a year too early for his time, right? Maybe not quite there, but I think this is a cool choice for baseball. I love the design. Like that game is how you're going to have to get into the younger demo if you're baseball, right? They've made all these changes in terms of pitching clock, everything to make the game shorter, but I think MLB The Show is a great way to try to capture some of those imaginations. And I think this is a cool cover to at least catch some eyes. So.
I don't think video games are given enough credit for being that gateway for a lot of people into the sport, right? No. Sometimes when they're just a video game character to you, like that's how you start to know them as a real person in real life. And I mean, sometimes I've known more about sports teams because of a video game than I ever would have just watching them.
Well,
right?
I think I've told you my theory that the NBA is played the way it is now because of NBA Jam.
Yeah.
It was all threes, and
you could say that about Madden too.
Yeah,
Madden,
exactly.
remember when teams used to take the kickoff at the beginning of a game? That's wild. When they won the coin toss, it's wild. They don't do that anymore.
I wish MLB Slugfest had taken hold, and we had 14 to 12 games.
Let's go.
But it is what
more backyard baseball on MLB fields. But Anyway, we thank you guys, of course, for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our wonderful shows go live. And leave us a review. We always, or actually, you do that on the audio side. Leave us a thumbs up on this side. We like
do whatever. Leave a review in the comments.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, tell me I suck in the comments, and that'll save us the 2-star review or whatever. But if you are a listener, we want those 5-star reviews on that side. Make sure to drop us one of those and subscribe over there as well. Of course, on the way back from our little photo shoot we did today, I stopped at Circle K because there's a Circle K everywhere. We were out in the middle of nowhere by Phoenix Raceway, and there is a magical Circle K.
Did you stop at the one right there?
Yes,
I did too.
Yeah, no, you have to stop because, of course, there is no other gas station around. There's just the Circle K. So, and if you are a member of their inner circle, you can get 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups when you join. And of course, you also get 3 cents off per gallon every day after that. You also get all sorts of wonderful benefits in the app. So make sure to sign up today for the app. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
My favorite thing, I walk in there, right? And
they're like, Espo!
No. Rarely has that ever happened in my life, not even at my parents' house. But I walk in, there's this little old lady doing all her grocery shopping at the Circle K, and she must do it a lot because they were all talking to her as if they knew her. So it was cute.
That's amazing. And that's the community that we live in here. And of course, another great part of our community is our friends from Desert Financial Credit Union that have been serving Arizona for over 84 years now. They have been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, and they are all about giving back to you as a customer and to the community. You can look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. Make sure you bank with a bank that has your financial interests in mind. They helped me get started on my home ownership journey, and they can help you as well. When you open a free checking account online, you'll get $200 in bonuses right now. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
I convinced Flex last night on the Sun Show that I was going to give him $200, and then I hit him with the ad. It was great.
Good job. Yeah. Now he has to sign up. It's part of the deal. Yeah. When you get tricked into it, you have to sign up. By the way, this past postseason, I don't know if you remember, but
there was a postseason?
There was a postseason. The Diamondbacks were in it, and they made it all the way to the World Series.
Was that why you were shirtless?
That may have been why I was shirtless.
I thought you were just hanging around the office.
Saw that. I honestly didn't think you noticed that.
I see everything.
But a big thing part of that postseason run was when we went over and we took over ownership rights of Los Angeles, the city as a whole, right? Yeah. So
what a shithole to own.
Oh man, there is a lot of complaints. You talk about being a mayor of Phoenix being problematic. My God, you should see how my email box is filled with complaints. But since they do own Los Angeles, another part of that ownership comes with owning Hollywood now. And since the Diamondbacks now own Hollywood, it's only fitting that we actually get the Diamondbacks postseason. I said 2023 Arizona Diamondbacks movie out there. We have the casting reveal ready. Of course, the movie itself, as Espo has titled it, is called Connected and Dangerous. It's the 2023 Arizona Diamondbacks.
I didn't tell you this, but I got us a director too.
Who'd you get?
Christopher Nolan has agreed.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Nolan's attached.
Yeah, even though they didn't have that many deep bombs last year, they've got the Oppenheimer director. So.
That was a good one. Well, we do have a lot of casting to get to. So, of course, we got to start off with the man running the show. Of course, Torey Lovullo. He is going to be played by Law and Order SVU's Christopher Maloney.
This is one we've talked about for a while.
This entire question, this was all inspired by a Mailbag Monday question that we started to dive into, but we absolutely did not put enough work and effort into. And this right here proves it, because look at this. We nailed the casting.
Just put the hat on Christopher Maloney, and he is Torey Lovullo.
It's uncanny here. That's very, very good. Okay, so we also have this is the only disagreement we had this entire casting process. Yes. So we decided maybe we'll go with maybe a younger Zach Gallen and an older Zach Gallen. We don't know. Maybe we need to tell the backstory of Zach Gallen, but regardless, Zach Gallen will be played by both Kyle Mooney and Andrew Garfield. We don't know how yet, but both of these men, I think, are qualified to play Zach Gallen.
Mooney gets the comedic scenes with Zach Gallen, and Garfield gets the dramatic scenes. And I think that is just 100% fair to go with both of those guys in those two different in those two different ways. I think it is exactly what you would need. I mean, Mooney has the chops to be hilarious in the clubhouse, and Garfield has the dramatic ability to really pull it off when he's on the mound in those dramatic pitching scenes that we've seen with him. And I think that is just what you're going to have to go with here. Plus, I mean, I'm sorry, Mooney's beard, not quite there for me. But Andrew Garfield's beard is just spot on. Throw some glasses and a hat on either of these guys, and spot on casting.
I mean, I don't know exactly how it would work out, especially considering I think they're both the same age, but it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. We just couldn't pick that. We couldn't figure that one out.
I know that they're both the same age, but when you look at Mooney, you go, that guy's got to be like 40, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He plays a good 40. He played. Maybe he can be like retired Zach Gallen telling this tale of the 2023 postseason. But there's no doubt about this one. Merrill Kelly is Woogie from Groundhog Day, aka Chris Elliott, the mayor of Schitt's Creek.
Luckily, we have the budget of the Dodgers since we took over LA, so we can do the de-aging process.
Oh, we can.
We can.
Well,
so it lines up.
I definitely have some prosthetics in the budget a little later on that we need to get to. But my God, I think I joke about this, but I know even Merrill Kelly knows he looks like Chris Elliott. There's no doubt about it. He's worn the little hat and done the beard scratch like he did in the movie. It's incredible. But this one I really liked because you nailed this one. Espo.
Yes, I did.
Espo casted Paul Sewald with Lucas Hedges. Let's take a look at these two gentlemen. My God. My goodness.
I put hours and hours of research into this.
We did a lot of work.
I was in bed at like 12:30 at night, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking care of casting for Derek's movie." God damn it!
We got a lot. We had a lot of stuff to do. See, I think the ear action will happen the same when he puts the hat on.
The furrow of the brow. It's all about the nose in this.
It really is. It really is. And I think Lucas can pull off the dad energy that Paul Sewald conveys. It's hard to. But he's an actor. He's a trained actor. This also, next casting is fairly uncanny, and it's a very important one. It's probably the star of our movie, and it's Corbin Carroll being played by Corey Maltese. Is it Maltese?
I'm sure.
It's a little.
That's what he told me when I talked to him on the phone last night.
Put some facial hair on that guy, and it is Corbin.
I want a track.
He is our guy,
and he can run fast. I made sure that was the case here in this casting. Talked with his agent. I said, "Look, this is gonna be more running at a higher speed than this guy's ever done. Can he pull it off?" They said yes, and he can grow the goatee.
Yeah.
We don't need to actually put that on there. No CGI.
Nope.
He can grow.
Yeah, you got to grow the goatee. We're no CGI beards here. And actually, as our producer Eazy-E, aka Eric, on the ones and twos said, some of these guys need to bulk up. But again, that is part of the process. When you are an actor, especially a method actor, you got to get in there. You got to do the workouts. You got to get the traps up. You got to get those arms built up.
There's no drug testing in Hollywood. So the clear and the cream is available.
I didn't say it, but he's not wrong. Let's take a look at who we have for the guy that set a new Major League Baseball record in the postseason, one and only Ketel Marte. And he is played by actor Marquise Rodriguez.
This was all you. I could not figure this one out, and you nailed it.
Look at this kid. He was born to play Ketel Marte. Are you kidding me? Get a couple of lines in his brow and put a hat on him. He's good. He's good. Put him in an amazing car. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., another difficult casting. But and we have Geraldo Perdomo, Jerry P. Come on now. We have Jaden Smith, aka Will Smith's son. And one of my favorite singers, Aloe Black, here playing Geraldo Perdomo.
I heard he's the man. He's the man.
He's the man. Well, and Perdomo he's been the man himself there.
I need to see purple hair on both these gentlemen, and we'll enjoy this.
Like, I very much feel like Jaden has the lankiness and the height and the hair to play Lourdes, without a doubt. It's just committing to the role because again, we don't do CGI with facial hair or hair. You got to really dye it purple. Gabby Moreno.
I'm not sure where we landed on that one. So we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to come back to it because I'm not quite sure. Right. I'm ready to commit.
I have a little bit of a comic relief there, perhaps, for Gabriel Moreno. But before we do get there, do we have Tommy Pham? we got a Tommy Pham casting here. And of course, it's the METHOD man. The METHOD man. Look, I know Method Man's like 20 years older than Tommy, and there's no disrespect here. But Method Man, from his days with the Woo to now, has become quite an accomplished actor. I think he could play 35, 36 years old. And I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at the resemblance.
Pretty spot on.
I mean, they're ready to go. He's ready to go.
We may need to wax the brows a little bit on Method Man, but
sure.
I think it works.
For sure. I think it works too. We also have, because it's the tale of the whole season, right? So let's see. Elise said, I don't see the Jaden connection. Okay. Well, yeah, we
can't hit all of them.
We can't hit all of them, but this one's pretty good, right? We also have, of course, Madison Bumgarner has to be part of this.
This is my favorite.
Let's go. Christian Bale.
It's Christian Bale.
Star power. I've heard Christian Bale can go on quite the rant as far as screaming and yelling and anger, and I think that we would need that with Mad Bum.
He's a method actor too, so he will learn how to.
Oh my God!
He'll learn how to pitch. He'll actually learn how to pitch.
Not only that, but he's gonna fucking go around calling himself Mason Saunders for at least like 6 months.
Exactly.
Showing up at random like rodeos in Arizona.
You're
getting
2 for 1.
Oh my God!
I think it'll be fantastic,
Let's
and the
go.
beard is spot on. And this is one of those we needed a little extra star power. Madison Bumgarner's not in the whole film.
Yeah.
He shows up early. It's one of those cameo kind of things. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, and as Elise says, he can pull off the Southern drawl Mad Bum talks with. Yeah. This is it right here. And again, it's the fiery anger that not every actor can just manifest. Sometimes that has to live deep down inside of you, and we know Christian Bale has it in him.
And I know he can convey the shame of making all that money and doing absolutely nothing for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What else we got? Do we have Brent Strom casting?
Ooh.
Oh, we're giving Eric way too much to do all at once, and it's fine. He wants me to.
Listen, just stall for me for a second, man. I can't do it.
Can we move to? I know we have this one. I've seen this one. You and Jesse.
Me and Jesse.
You and Jesse deserve to be in this movie.
Why? Like, what are we? Are we like the broadcast?
You know how like in movies they cut to like the newscast where they're like just basically setting the scene for everything. It's you guys to like move the plot along when they don't want to actually show the game.
I'm with it.
You're the Bob Uecker from Major League kind of humor in this movie because it's going to be heavy. We know it's a Christopher Nolan pick, but there needs to be something with a little levity. And here you go. I gave you Chris Pratt and the kid from Stranger Things as you and Jesse, and it's very accurate.
Finn Wolfhard, let's go.
It is very, very accurate.
Am I Chris Pratt? Come on.
You are. Let's make this very clear.
To a certain extent,
you are
Chris
Parks
Pratt
and
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is what you're saying.
You're Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec.
Oh, that's
in Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt. We're gonna say, hey, throw the workout regimen out. None of this pre-workout. No, I want you as your fun-loving, self. Go back to the Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt. So that's what we got. But I'm telling you, could we have found a better Jesse?
No, I don't think so.
People say Michael Cera. No. This is the perfect casting.
No, that image right there definitely proved that.
And the best part of it is Jesse just saw that guy and went, Who's
that? What's he from? Is he an actor? Is he a singer? I don't know. And that's the way that Jesse lives his life.
I've got Strom and Gabby if you want them.
Okay, let's go Gabby first because Gabby, I think this Michael Pena is just perfect for Gabby. And I know that he'd be hilarious in this movie. And I don't know if Gabby's really hilarious, but I want to believe he is.
The catcher always has to be kind of the serious but funny guy. We've seen him. I think he can. Yeah. I don't think it's Mr. Make everybody chuckle, but there's some good one-liners that he gets off.
I could see him like walking up in a scene in the movie where he comes up to the mound and just says something hilarious to Kyle Mooney playing Zach Gallen.
Deadpan though.
Yeah, deadpan.
But says it delivers a great line.
Yeah,
right?
That's a great. And speaking of coming up to the mound, we have the man that will play Brent Strom, and of course, it's Colin Farrell.
But in like Penguin.
In the Penguin. Yeah, that's the prosthetics I was talking about earlier. That with the Penguin style, and of course he's an incredible actor that can play any human being that he sets his mind to. So I think because it was very hard to find a Brent Strom. He's such a unique person. It's hard to find somebody that looks like him. So I want to see Colin Farrell playing him.
I had Dame Judi Dench, but this will work as well. So.
All right, that works for me as well. Gabriel Ferrer says Lin-Manuel Miranda as Derek. I like that way better than Nicholas saying Jack Black.
I don't need this to turn into a musical. I don't need Derek singing, in this movie. No.
Have you heard me sing? Is the question. Let's start with that.
I mean, I'm not even going to get into it. I don't need this to turn into Hamilton.
Yeah, no. This is a 5-star cast, is what it is, and I can't wait to see this movie. No casting for anybody from the Rangers or Phillies or anybody? I would like them to be played by themselves.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Little Big League, right? Where Randy Johnson and Ken Griffey Jr. are the bad guys at the end of the movie. Yes, I want the Rangers to be the Rangers.
The Phillies do have a bunch of guys that just look like evil.
Yes.
Like Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper.
Maybe we give it the Major League ending where we just end it there at the end of the NLCS. And then in the second movie, that's where you find out that they went on to the World Series but didn't win it. I don't know.
I'm okay. I like that we're looking at a 2-picture deal here.
That's no movie today is made without the sequel already.
Guys, I'm way too invested in this. You don't understand. Right? I'm way too invested in this. I'm like, I wonder how they're all going to have chemistry on screen.
I mean, we didn't even cast Alec Thomas, and the movie ends with him planting the flag in the ground in Philadelphia.
I need the D-back cinematic universe now. I'm in on this. We can even go back until 2001.
Okay.
And it could be like a prequel movie.
All right. That's good. Yeah,
there's
good.
all sorts of things that we can do.
I'm fully on board with this. This is great. You guys leave us your casting choices as well in the comments.
In the prequel, Jesse can play Greg Schulte. He can live out his lifelong dream of being Greg Schulte.
Maybe that's how we end the prequel is just Jesse as a kid caster right there. Like that's what the future holds. That could be like the post-credits scene.
You guys want to hear a couple from the chat?
Let's go.
Brent Strom is Michael Caine.
Yes. Let's go.
Brad Pitt for Kevin Keegan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, we covered that.
I think Tom Holland was in reference to Jesse.
That has to be in reference to Jesse.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, he does not get Tom Holland.
No. I mean, honestly, Zach Gallen doesn't really deserve Andrew Garfield either, but Andrew Garfield deserves Zach Gallen.
Can I get Conan O'Brien to play Pavin Smith just because of the redhead thing? Like, I need something to make me want to see Pavin Smith in this movie.
You know why that would be hilarious? Because when you got to the part where they just used Pavin Smith as a decoy, speaking of his dog Decoy, Conan O'Brien's facial expressions are going to be hilarious when he's like, Pavin, come back to the dugout. And he's like, oh, man, like one of those things. It's going to be great.
Robert Downey Jr. is Mike Hazen.
Okay. All right, I'm down with that. I've been cast as as Robert Downey Jr. before in my time, but that was before I looked as old as I do now, so I don't know. But
I think this is lies. All right,
I'm just making stuff up just so that I can make myself
Black.
Can
I be Tom Cruise?
You can absolutely. You cast me as Chris Pratt with the abs.
I mean, think about me, Tom Cruise, but what was that? Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I have more hair, but I could be totally
nailed it.
There we go.
Yeah, we got this all figured out. So, of course, those of you that are PHNX diehards, you already have it all figured out because you are already part of the family. But if you are not, join us over here at gophnx.com. You don't miss out on any of this fun we're having. We're having all sorts of fun today. And always, of course, you get yourself a free t-shirt from phnxlocker.com. You get yourself access to Jesse's all of Jesse's content.
You get access to Jesse.
Just Jesse himself.
Jesse. He'll come to your house.
We'll give you his phone number. You can text him whenever you want. Do like I do. Text him at 3:00 in the morning, and then he scares you when he responds. But
you can borrow the Sick RAV4 whenever you want it. So, yeah.
Maybe make a salad and go date. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But of course, just get all this wonderful stuff, including discounts with our partners. You get access to the Discord Lounge, which is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan, and so much more. So sign up today at gophnx.com. Also, check out our friends at BetMGM. They are doing some wonderful things. And, of course, when we talk about the bet show, did you do you have any bets? Did you take care of some Suns bets? No,
I got work last night.
You got work last night.
I did the first game that Booker scored 40 points. I did pick that in that Dallas game and won big. But,
The only game so far that I've seen someone bet against the Suns in the fourth quarter was the game where they had their biggest comeback ever. So I've learned not to trust betting against them in the fourth quarter because it's only going to come back to bite me when I do it. But right now what you can do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app, and you can sign up using our code of PHNX. If you do, deposit $5 into your account, make your first bet in at least that amount, you will receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager, in honor of Super Bowl 58. So sign up today for BetMGM and use that bonus code of PHNX when you place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the Sportsbook mobile application for at least $5. You will receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, we've gone to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we're in Puerto Rico now.
Puerto Rico. Sorry,
No,
I get so stuck on Ontario.
Yeah, well, I thought you hated Ontario.
I do. They can get stuck.
Suck it, Ontario.
They can suck it too. Yeah.
There we go.
But
anyway.
I love Puerto Rico.
There we go.
Only great things come from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat some tostones. But of course, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. It could be a local Puerto Rico spot for you if you want to get away, if you want to spend some time by the pool, if you want to get yourself some wonderful drinks and have a wonderful night out or a staycation right here in town. They have a state-of-the-art gaming floor with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, live table games, and of course, the biggest, Arizona's largest casino sportsbook in the Valley. So make sure to check them out. They have wonderful dining options. And of course, you can do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let them show you what next level is all about. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Hey, you do you.
Yeah, you do you.
All right.
I like that. That's pretty good. I don't know. But speaking of you doing you, on Saturday night.
Hey,
wait. Well, we want to.
How'd you know about my Saturday night,
How
Derek?
do you phrase that without it sounding terrible? Anyway. The Diamondbacks were honored. A couple of Diamondbacks were honored this past Saturday night in New York City. Outfielder Corbin Carroll received his 2023 NL Rookie of the Year award at the 99th New York Baseball Writers Dinner. Here's a shot of MLB put out this tweet, and there is a tweet about basically Corbin Carroll getting dropped off on day one, and also, do we have the tweet? Oh, okay, that's fine. Corbin Carroll was dropped off by his parents. MLB had and then the fast forward to him at the dinner with his parents. Obviously, his family was a huge part of his journey. He thanked his parents and his sister for basically, helping him live his dream and for helping him make it that far. And he said he was forever in debt to them. Nothing you wouldn't expect to come out of Corbin Carroll.
Wouldn't the surprise ending have been he told his parents to get stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, I did this all myself.
Gave him the Ontario treatment?
Yeah. It's like, screw that.
Get out of here. I got what I needed out of you now. No, it's of course, Corbin being just the best guy ever, of course, having his family and everything there. Not to mention the fact that he had some amazing Instagram pictures with his girlfriend also, who former Miss America.
We didn't cast her.
We didn't cast her.
That was a miss.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. But meanwhile, Mike Hazen. Oh, let's take a look. We do have the tweet. Let's take a look at the tweet because come on, this is heartwarming. From getting dropped off by your parents for your first home opener to receiving the NL Rookie of the Year award with them, less than 10 months. Corbin Carroll is living every young baseball player's dream.
I gotta say, I feel uncomfortable because I feel like I'm about his parents' age looking at that photo.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's pretty fairly accurate statement. Also, I love correcting. I love the fact that story is Corbin Carroll's parents dropping him off when in reality it was him picking his parents up from the airport and then letting them keep his car while he went to work. But again,
why get in the way of a good story?
I know. What am I doing?
Christopher Nolan is going to use that as the jumping off point for the entire film.
Oh my God! What an opening scene!
It
Just
is.
Corbin Carroll getting dropped off by his parents. Mike Hazen, I know they weren't actually there, but like standing off in the distance, pointing and being like, "Is he really being dropped off by his parents?"
Yeah, it's like getting dropped off at college.
Yeah,
it's just the whole thing. It just writes itself, and I love that he just embraced the fact that his parents were part of the journey.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Hazen also received an honor this past Saturday as well. He received the You Gotta Have Heart Award, which is presented to a member of the baseball community who has overcome difficult circumstances. And we all know what Mike Hazen has gone through with the loss of his wife, Nicole. That was incredibly painful, incredibly hard situation for him to go through. But Mike said this in regards to winning the award: "I want to thank the baseball writers for this award. It means a great deal to me to be able to continue to tell my wife's story. When she was dying, and I'm sure many people can understand this, her greatest fear was that she was going to be forgotten. And as much as I reassured her, those are complicated conversations to have. But it's times like this, like I feel like I get to continue to tell her story." And yeah, I mean, obviously, in going through one of the most difficult things that anybody could go through, Mike Hazen was able to somehow continue to, focus on this team and still give this team everything he had. He has said at times that the Diamondbacks are are what helped him kind of be able to kind of live life and do this stuff. I mean, it's very difficult to have a traumatic event like this happen and still try to see something like baseball as being important.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful that he honors his wife like this and in everything that he's doing with the team, that she's there, because I think we all have felt that fear that we wouldn't be remembered when it's all said and done. And having your spouse say that to you has to be immensely difficult, but that he's taking that and actually honoring her in these ways is a beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's something very real. It's very difficult to sometimes discuss, but none of us want to be forgotten. And luckily, at times we get to touch so many people's lives. But on the radio, I was listening to two DJs that I like very much here locally talk about how you're also replaceable, and sometimes in life, that's what you don't want to feel is like that, even in a job, that once you're gone from that job, that they're just going to pick someone else up and plug them in. Right. So
Derek, you're replaced.
Well,
Jesse, you've already been replaced.
Yeah, well, that's why you're here. These are just auditions for Jesse's spot. But if you would like to contribute to Nicole's legacy and the research that they're doing for glioblastoma, you can donate to the Nicole Hazen Fund for Hope via the Diamondbacks website. We'll also put the link in our show notes for you guys to access if you're interested. But we do appreciate you guys, of course, for stopping by. I appreciate Espo for helping me get this movie finally off the ground. We have a lot of work producing it, so we got to go. But in the meantime, you can follow us. I am on Twitter at @cap_caveman with a K. This man inexplicably has Espo just at.
I know where
Espo.
the bodies are buried.
It's incredible. Of course, also our producer, Eric Ruby. Are you just at Eric Ruby? It's ERIK Ruby, right? No underscores, no nothing. See, his is easy. He's not the fourth best Eric Ruby like Jacob Franklin, but we are still Damon's dogs, even when Eric's here. Bark, 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 bark. But of course, our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, and all roads do lead to @PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's going to be so much more fun when we're at the theater watching this Diamondbacks movie.
We all silly like the mayor.